Hi, I'm DZink. I'm going to talk about what I think are the three most interesting factors that are going to affect transportation in the next 10 to 20 years, and those are political environmental changes and technology changes. In order to sustain the growth to our economy and the industry, it's going to require some political changes. Most of our responses to date has focused on increasing capacity. So you can either increase capacity, build more roads, or decrease the demand. You know, make driving more efficient, take more cars off the road. Increasing capacity is expensive because it requires, for example, in rural areas, an easy $1 million per mile to build a road. In a urban area, it could be tens of millions of dollars. So one of the ways you increase or can decrease the demand is by increasing fees, and you're going to see a lot more of that in the future as more and more urban areas are going to charge tolls in order to drive on the roads. And of course the cost of fuel is going to go up for a number of reasons, and that's also going to decrease demand. So you're going to see some changes in that area. One of the things we also want to do is make some changes in routing and in the timing of when vehicles are on the road. One of the most busy ports in the United States is in Los Angeles, and coincidentally it has probably the busiest interstate system in our country. Well, everyone wants to work during the daytime and move goods during the day, and I'm going to project that we will start seeing some political movement that's going to say start moving your goods during nighttime and reduce some of the congestion. To date, there's been a problem, and there's been a lot of pushback from the industry, but I think that's going to happen. And finally, you're going to see more private development of roads. For example, in the state of Colorado, there's not going to be any more new roads built. Right now, we have a law that says all new roads are going to have to be built by privatization. We've given the permission to private companies to let bonds and even to use eminent domain on behalf of the government in order to take land to build additional roads. All we need is the political will and the money in order to make changes in our infrastructure. Unless you lived in a cave for the last few years, you're going to realize that there's changes in the environment. Our goal now is to improve air quality and reduce fuel consumption. Carbon dioxide levels have been rising over the last few years. We're going to focus on technologies that have the highest potential for success. And you'll see some of those right here. We're going to need to be a strong advocate for environmental testing. We don't do that right now in many of our urban areas. So we're going to come up with urban partnership agreements in order to develop more environmental testing. You also see here is a chart, and this chart is the carbon dioxide increasing for the next 30 years. Now, it's not important to know what those numbers are. What is important to know is it's going up, and it's going to have an impact on our environment, it's going to have an impact on the climate, and eventually there's going to be a point where it could have an impact on the way our quality of life. So we're going to have to come up with technologies that are going to help reduce that environmental impact. And the first thing we're going to do is reduce congestion. And probably, there's a number of technologies here, but probably the best way to do that is with public transportation. But I'm also going to talk about in a minute here some of the new technologies that are going to be evolving over the next 30 years. And it's going to help reduce congestion and also impacts to the environment. We also have technologies that's going to impact the information. In other words, we're going to have intelligent routing. We're going to use GPS to plot the shortest and the fastest routes. You know, get the cars off the road, get the trucks off the road as soon as possible, and save fuel. We're also going to see a lot more intelligent transportation systems. This type of technology has more impact on safety, for example. You're going to see smarter vehicles, collision avoidance, adaptive cruise control. Technology is out there right now, but it's not universally used by all vehicles. So you're going to see that over the next 10 years. We're also going to try to harmonize our transportation standards with other countries. For example, with our NAFTA countries, in Mexico, for example, we can't move goods to and from the country unless we improve the quality of the vehicles. There's pollution problems with vehicles coming in from other countries. Then we're going to develop standards in order to, again, reduce the environmental impact. Finally, I want to talk about the technologies that are coming online. This chart is from the National Renewable Energy Lab. It's the Department of Energy. It's a 30-year projection of where we're going with 3 factors of technology: powertrain, energy, and distribution. Probably the most common powertrain technology we have right now is the internal combustion engine. It uses gasoline, but we're going to see a lot more ethanol being used. The problem is they got distribution problems. We can't move, for whatever reason, ethanol products out of the Midwest. So we're going to have to come up with new technologies, new motors. For example, electric motors, more efficient than internal combustion technology. One way you power those motors are through electricity. You can do that through fuel cells, you can do that through generation, you can even plug them in and use batteries. But right now, while that technology is available, it's not affordable. So there's going to be some changes that you're going to see over the next 10, 20 years. This chart shows a lot going on here. Which one's the gold nugget yet, but eventually you're going to see a change from internal combustion engines to electric power type vehicles, and you're going to see that probably in the next 10 to 20 years. Next, I'd like to bring Mike back one more time. He's going to talk about education impacts and how they affect the transportation industry. Mike?